Hi and welcome to Popecast Gaming. I'm here today with a guest in my interview things. I have Reggie here from Strange Game Studios. Hi Reggie.
Hey, Oscar, how's it going?
Yeah, everything nice here. Just enjoying your game.
Yeah, yeah. I see you're on the other team, so
Yeah, so I shouldn't be allowed to have too much fun or what?
well, just don't be offended if I shoot you.
No, no worries. I was kind of shooting. Was it you or someone from your team playing yesterday?
Yeah, I think I was on there several times yesterday playing. If I'm on my dev kit, it'll say Strange Games,
Yeah,
and if I'm on my retail unit, it'll show the friend that you, or show the name you see.
yeah. I have to say that. So it was you driving around the car all the time.
Yeah, if I get somebody in the car, uh, I'll try to jump the bridge to show them how much fun that can
I
be.
was in the
So,
car. I was the one who
yeah.
constantly followed you in the car.
Did you did I jump the bridge for you?
Yeah, you did.
Yes. Sometimes I'll jump the bridge, or I'll take it up the stairs and go up on top of the bridge with it. So, just to kind of show people what you can do with the vehicles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find a lot of people will drive really fast and they just floor it, and you really got to kind of use fine control in the vehicle. So,
Yeah, I think the cars are pretty decent to control, but the tanks are really strange for me.
yeah, we've had some real issues with the tanks, with the physics interactions, and I think these last updates have got them. Uh, I've got most of the bugs fixed. They're still not as good as I'd like, but I think it's a big improvement over where we started.
Yeah,
Uh,
the game is slightly going, slowly getting better and better.
yeah, there's so much we want to do, and I'm actually working today on the remaster of Honor and Duty Arcade Edition.
Oh,
Um, the uh, the artist who did most of the levels in D-Day is working on more updated models and textures for the remaster. I have trouble shooting and talking at the same
no, no
time, so
problem. I understand you
yeah.
there.
So, oh, I just shot you there. Uh, so yeah, he's done a lot of new models for Arcade Edition. So what we're going to do is remaster that and kind of really bring that game up to speed. Um, and bring all the coding changes we've made for D-Day and bring those back into Arcade Edition. So with that, we should be able to do a lot better visuals in Arcade Edition.
Oh, nice.
And we're going to swap out the cartoony looking character models and redo a lot of the gun models. So it should be a lot nicer looking game. And we probably, yeah, our Sony rep has always advised against it. We may end up raising the price, once we do all this work to it. Because I feel like it'll be a little better game at that point, and worth a little more. So we may go from $7 to $10 on that game.
Yeah, but this one was really cheap too when it launched. It's Honor and
Yeah.
Duty.
So
Yeah.
they may both be about the same price. Yeah, and a lot of people have said they really felt like we priced this one too cheap, which is nice to hear. Um,
Yeah, I'm actually
so
joining that. Those guys are saying that. I'm always feel like
yeah,
almost feel like I'm ripping you guys off.
I've heard people say that. So that's good. I mean, it makes me feel like we've really done a good game if they feel like it we didn't charge enough for it. So it's always better than them saying this is overpriced. It's not
Yeah.
worth the money. So it's always nice when they say it's worth
Yeah,
more.
but for those who haven't played this game, Honor Duty on PS4 and that stuff, could you tell them a little bit more about you and the studio behind it?
I started out making games on the Indie Games channel years ago on the Xbox 360, and we had pretty good success there. I actually partnered with a guy named Patrick Barrett, who had worked at EA, and he was pretty high up at EA, and he left EA to do his own thing, and um, we met through the Indie Games channel and started making games together there. So that's kind of where I got my start in game development. And Patrick eventually went off to do his own thing, and I continued making games on the 360's indie channel, and we had some pretty good success. And that's actually where Honor and Duty started. It was called Avatar Honor and Duty. And it was a little cartoony avatar shooter. It had one map, and it did fairly well. It never had any really great success. Um, But anyway, we had probably a dozen games out on the 360 by the time they shut it down. And so we kind of used the success there to invest in the Sony dev kits and kind of get going on the PlayStation 4. And we've this has been our first really big success. Arcade Edition did well, but over time, it was mainly through sales and the VR update. When it first released, somebody just hit somebody in a Jeep. And
It was me.
there. Oh, that was you. I love the ragdolls. The ragdolls are always fun.
Yeah.
But the problem with Arcade Edition was when it came out, we just didn't have any social media footprint. I mean, we weren't doing anything on Twitter or Facebook. And, we were basically using what worked on the 360 on the PlayStation. It was just a really different thing. On the 360, they had the new games release list. And that's where everybody went to look. And so all you had, you really didn't have to do any external marketing to get exposure for your game because everybody just went to this place on the Xbox and they would see your game there. So a PlayStation, it just was really different. I mean, although they had the new games on the store, you just really needed to build a lot more buzz for it. It was just kind of a different atmosphere, I guess. And so that was kind of the mistake we made with Arcade Edition, was just not really generating any buzz and just kind of thinking people would see it on the store and buy it, and it'd be like the 360. So with D-Day, we really started early, started getting out there and interacting with the YouTube community, and by the time the open beta released, we'd generated a fair amount of buzz, and so I think that was one of the reasons we've done a lot better with this than with Arcade Edition, as well as the fact that it's a better game. Arcade Edition launched and it was still, fairly rough, and it didn't have VR, so anyway, once we added VR to Arcade Edition, there was just such a huge response from it, and people were just so excited that I realized that this was really where we wanted to focus, was on making VR games. So we kind of took the Arcade Edition code base and used that as the beginning for D-Day, and just really rewrote a lot of things. And at this point now, we're taking all those rewrites and putting them back into Arcade Edition and bringing it up to speed. So anyway, that's kind of us in a nutshell.
Yeah, and I heard also that it's pretty hard to put out a game on PSVR because of the testing and all that stuff. It has to run like 60 frames per second. Or what is it?
Yeah. And we actually got a waiver for Arcade Edition because it was using some code that was very inefficient, and so it was really tough to maintain 60. But yeah, I think just getting through the what they call VR console, was about 4 or 5 months for us. It was brutal for Arcade Edition. And D-Day was probably about half that time. And it was mainly because we'd added vehicles and we're doing a few things different. So they really wanted some changes, with the way the vehicles worked. And that caused us some problems. But yeah, the VR thing just really adds a lot of complexity, and that's why you see a lot of games release without smooth locomotion and with snap turning. It's a lot easier to get through the VR testing if that's all you support. But if you do free locomotion and smooth turning like we do, it's a little more demanding. So since we had already been through it on Arcade Edition, we were already set up to do it on this one.
Yeah, and you're supporting a lot the important control schemes, in my opinion, at least, like a DualShock and aim and that.
Yeah, it was a good bit of work to do all those, but I think it was really worth it. I mean, you see a lot of games that don't, like Space Junkies just came out and they're only supporting the DualShock 4, and a lot of people are turned off by that. And everybody's got their favorite controller they want to use, so I think it's important to kind of give them the option to use whatever they want.
Yeah, I have tried every of the all of them, the control schemes.
Yeah.
Just to get a feeling of it. And I actually like the DualShock.
Yeah, that's actually what I'm playing on right now.
Yeah,
I
me
find
too.
for me, I like the oh man, I just get killed up on the bridge. I think that was you that killed me.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I think my favorite's the aim.
yeah, it's a really nice control, but I don't know why. I feel like, come on, yeah,
Holy crap, there's a bunch of them on the bridge.
yeah. This is. So yeah,
I
I'm
love these
really happy
battles up
about
on.
that you're supporting a lot of control schemes. More
Yeah,
games
it was
should do
definitely
that.
yeah, and I think it just gets down to it's a lot of work to do that, and so it's just a matter of how much time the big studios have to put into it. Unfortunately, it seems like a lot of them are being more focused on profits, and it's all about getting the game out there as quick as they can. So some of the larger studios I'm hearing are just really becoming more profit driven, and they're looking at monetization schemes are important to them. And for me, I think it's I like to focus on the gameplay and what's fun, and not worry so much about how can we get as much money out of the game as we can. And so um,
Yeah, and
so
I think you're like really going with that joy of play, like almost the early Nintendo days. You know, not be really the best graphic, but it's really fun to play and it's really
uh
smooth.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we tried to do here was just make a fun gameplay. I started out playing games like Quake and the original Doom, uh, and there was just something about those old games, just the run and gun, and it was just a lot of fun. That's what we wanted to kind of do here, and so it's just been really great to hear, the positive feedback from everyone, and uh, I kind of feel like it all came together pretty well, and the open beta we did was just really key in all that. We got so much feedback, found out the stuff people liked, the stuff they didn't like, and got a lot of great suggestions. So um, I think that was one of the things that we really did right was doing the open beta.
Yeah, the
And
beta was amazing in my opinion. I was playing that a lot.
yeah, and because it was free and it didn't require PlayStation Plus, we had a huge player base, and we're going to be doing a trial version of this game that will let people play the battle royale for free. And so we're hoping that'll kind of get the battle royale player base up. Which, when the full game released, nobody was playing battle royale, and so I think by making it a free trial, we'll be able to get a lot of battle royale games going.
Yeah, there is a huge market for that out there for battle royale
Yeah,
games.
I was kind of surprised that we didn't have more people wanting to play the battle royale.
Yeah, I'm actually not a big battle royale fan, but I know guys that are, and they seem to
Yeah.
like it. So, well, no, it's not the best time during this time of this interview, like in Sweden. It's not the best
Uh-huh.
play time.
Yeah, unfortunately, the player base won't start picking up for about another 4 hours, I think, is when it starts
Yeah.
to really peak a little bit. I know I was actually playing a little bit last night. I wanted to test the patch, and I think I was on at 1 o'clock, and there was about 5 or 6 people. And, prior to that, I think it'd probably been between 10 and 20 people. But it's good to see that there are people pretty much playing it all through the night. There's at least, 2 or 3 people online playing, which is cool.
Me and First Minute Gamer on YouTube and Twitter, we are playing this in the daytime or time zones a lot.
Yeah, I mean, and it's for a small indie game. It is really hard to get a good player base, uh, for online because it tends to drop off after your first couple of weeks. So the fact that we're going into almost a month and we're still having games going on all through the day is really a good sign for it. So
Yeah, I found this game by the community.
Uh-huh.
With Gamertag VR that you have been on.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Chris over at Gamertag, yeah.
I have been in some of those matches you have been in there.
Oh,
Actually,
okay.
yeah. So yeah, I found this game when he started talking about it, and I couldn't stop playing.
Thanks. It's good to hear.
Yeah,
I've heard people say, they go on to play for 10 minutes, and end up, being in there for an hour or two. And yeah, it definitely can suck you in.
yeah, it's one of
But I
those
guess,
games that you just forget about the time.
yeah. Yeah, and we're porting to the Oculus Quest, so I'm sorry, not the Quest, the Oculus Rift. And as soon as that's out, you'll have an influx of PC players as well. So that'll get the matches back up to, closer to the 30-player matches we had when it first launched.
Yeah, so Sony are allowing cross platform on this.
Yeah. So it's already been approved, and we'll probably do the same thing with Arcade Edition. Go back and ask them because we'd originally started, talking to them about doing cross play on that, but when it launched, it just didn't have, any sort of player base, and so there was just no point. Uh, there just weren't any online players. It was, people were mainly buying it and playing single player. And so we'll probably revisit that with Arcade Edition after we get the Rift version of D-Day out.
Yeah, that will be really interesting because of the difference in controls on the different
Yeah.
VR platforms.
Yeah, and we've actually been talking with the Vive as well, although they kind of, we had an initial phone interview, or had a conference call with them, and they were interested, and then I never heard from them again.
Oh,
And there goes my phone again. Hold on 1 second. I'm just going to let that go to voicemail. Sorry about that.
no problem. So yeah, that will be an interesting thing to see.
Yeah. So we're working with the studio behind what is it, Flying Aces Navy Combat Simulator. I forget the exact name of it, but it's an Oculus. It's kind of like Ace Combat, but it's maybe a much smaller studio, and they want to bring it to the PlayStation VR. So we're working with them to help them to bring it here, and they're going to help us bring D-Day to the Oculus. So we're probably going to get moving on that a little more this week. And I'm hoping maybe within a few months we'll have it pretty close to at least going into the Oculus submission process.
Yeah, then you will get a much bigger player base there. Or
Yeah,
you have big potential customers, but I don't know how many PS4 buyers who doesn't have VR replace it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I recently put a thing in there on the results screen that'll show you who's playing in VR, and it's more than I thought. I mean, it's like almost everybody is in VR, like you
Yeah.
can see right now.
I'm the only one,
Yeah.
and no, another guy also in on VR.
Yeah. So usually that's about it. It's usually just a couple of people in the entire match. So yeah, it tends to be um, very much a VR game. So, but it was made from the start for VR. So, but we did want to include flat screen support. I mean, it's no problem to do it. I mean, there's a little more work because you've got to do some things twice, like like the player models. Um, there's a different setup for a flat mode player versus a VR player. There's some things you do different. So there's a little bit of double work, but it really wasn't that much. But yeah, we had people saying, hey, are you going to, is this going to be playable in flat mode? Because I want to be able to play with my friends. And so we definitely made that a priority.
Yeah, and I think it's running really good both on flat and VR, this game.
Yeah, I definitely want to do some improvements to the VR performance. It's definitely not as smooth as I'd like it. So, but once we get everything else kind of settled out, then we'll kind of go back and do some things with the visuals. I want to do some some pro features to give some additional visuals for pro users, and
Yeah, I'm having the pro version of.
oh, you're on the
Is-
pro version? Okay.
Yeah.
I think there's a few things in there right now. There's not a lot. I think the pro's got a little better shadows. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think what else. But yeah, so I want to go back and improve do some pro features, and then also really get the performance back up there.
Yeah, that would be nice. One question just: do you have any plans for a physical release?
We don't have anything to announce at this time on that.
Okay.
But it's something obviously we'd love to do, but and we've certainly thought about it, but there's no official plans at the moment.
Because I'm one of those
I shouldn't say there's no official. There's nothing to announce at this time. But there's
Okay.
definitely something we'd like to do.
Yeah, because I'm one of those old school gamers, that want those physical boxes.
Yeah, I'm the same way. So.
Yeah. So with PSVR, it has been a little bit of a struggle to me, because a lot of games is digital only.
Yeah, Perp Games
Sorry, I dropped you there.
specializing in.
I dropped you there
What's
for a
that?
second.
Oh, I was saying Perp Games is really done a lot with the VR community. They're really going after a lot of VR games and getting them out there on physical releases. So
Yeah, so they're really helping me in that manner.
but yeah, I was one of the things I was really surprised at when we did the VR patch for Arcade Edition, and people were telling me, they were saying stuff like, "Congratulations, you're the first one to do this." I'm like, "What?" Because this came like about almost a year and a half into, the release of PlayStation VR, and I could not believe that nobody had released an online team-based VR shooter. So
No, there were quite few of those in the early days there. It was.
they were saying Farpoint was the only one, and that was the first one. They only had 1v1, I believe.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
But yeah, but as far as VR goes, now obviously there was a lot of flat mode shooters, but yeah, they were telling me that we were the first one to do the team-based online shooter with the VR, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah, and then came Firewall also. So
Yeah, I
after a
think
while.
Bravo Team came out just before that, but that didn't really,
Yeah.
I don't think that had an online mode. And then Firewall came out, and unfortunately with Firewall, it's kind of a different sort of shooter. Whereas we're kind of Call of Duty run and gun, they're more tactical and a slow sort of shooter. So, there really are two different games.
Yeah, this one is a lot funnier that way, in my opinion, because it's run and gun. You don't have to you don't have to having the awesome tactics or anything.
Yeah, that's my main grief with Firewall is I just don't enjoy the getting shot and then having to sit there and wait and wait and wait. Which is not necessarily just a problem with, it's not anything specific to Firewall. That's the sort of, any sort of game that's you die and you're out sort of games, that's part of the gameplay. And I just don't like that. I prefer to get right back in the action,
Yeah. I'm one of those old Counter-Strike guys, if you have played PC.
Say that again.
The Counter-Strike, that shooter game.
Oh, okay.
That
yeah,
e-sport game. Yeah, I played that a lot. The only bad part with that is just that fact that you have to wait to get back into the match.
Yeah, so.
That could take forever, sometimes. But this is kind of a chill game. Run and gunning. I have to say that that free for all could get a little bit chaotic at times.
The free-for-all game mode?
Yeah, that's chaotic. It's crazy sometimes, but that's actually the fun part of it. That everyone against everyone.
Yeah, had some people saying they really didn't like it, but I think it was mainly because when the first patch that put it in didn't didn't give you enough cash, and so they were having to play with the Tommy
Yeah.
gun the majority of the time. So I sent out another patch last night to fix the logon issue, and I made some changes so you'd have plenty of cash. So I'm hoping that fixes the main gripes with free for all.
Yeah, because I have noticed that I'm like affording guns much easier now.
And free
In
for
my
all.
opinion. Or at all. Wait a minute, I just had some knocking here. Yeah.
But so the next patch that or the next kind of big thing we're working on is
Yeah,
adding a party
I'm back.
system so you can.
So, yeah. It was knocking on my door, sir.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we
Yeah.
both seem to be getting interruptions today.
Yeah, what were you saying there?
Saying the next kind of the next big thing I'm looking to do is to add a party system so you can party up with your friends and play together so you can play on the same team. And then after that will be the trial mode to allow people to play the battle royale if they haven't purchased the game.
Yeah, I think that could be potentially sell more games. Because they start loving the game and like they want to play the other things also.
Yeah, so that's what we're hoping.
So it's not really hard to convince someone with that price tag of this game, really. You should.
Yeah, the only frustrating thing is I really wish I could get Sony to put some marketing behind it. If like we couldn't even get them to give us a banner on the store the week it launched. We didn't get any sort of marketing push from them.
Yeah, so the only real like the most of the marketing I have seen was in the VR community.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, pretty
everybody's
much it
talking
was.
about it. It feels like that at least.
Yes, I feel like if they had given us any sort of marketing push, we could have done could have really done a lot more than what we did. But at least we're getting good word of mouth, and people are really enjoying the game, and so I think that'll will help it in the long run. But so I've been slowly kind of compiling a list of things I see people post on social media, comments and reviews, and once we get some more of the patches out and I kind of get a few more features in there, I'm going to kind of go to my rep and say, hey, look at this. You guys really, if you guys would just get behind me on this, I think we could really make this a really standout title. And I don't expect I don't expect to get any help, but we'll try.
Yeah, you can always try.
Yeah,
If you don't try, you never know.
yeah. I mean, Sony's been great to work with. I mean, they really. I mean, I don't want to sound like they're not supportive, um, but I suspect it's just got to do with priorities. And but yeah, I mean, it's a small indie studio. They have really been great to work with, and have given me a lot more support and attention than I would have thought they would have had time for. Because they've got to support their big studios, and then on top of that, they got all these smaller studios making games, and so the support they have given me has just really been tremendous, considering I'm just a tiny little studio.
Yeah, that's really good for them because some big companies like that just ignore small studios.
Yeah, yeah. So they really have been great. Like I said, I just wish I could get a little more of a marketing help from them. Whether it be mentions on the PlayStation blog or store banner every now and then,
Yeah, that would have
or
been
maybe
great
even ship.
because more people need to see this game. In my opinion, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wish they would do something like maybe it's one of the some of their shows. Put this in. Put this out there at their shows or something like that, or just try to help get some notice for it.
The only ones if I have some problems with recommending it to anyone, is those graphic guys. That they just they want it to be as real as possible.
Yeah. And that would be a challenge with as big of maps and as much stuff as we're putting in here. It would be pretty hard to do that with the realistic detail. So with the simplistic art style, that makes it a little easier to do everything we wanted to do here.
Yeah, and the flow of the game, it's amazing. I would prefer this style to realistic.
Yeah. Well, Arcade Edition is going to have, with the remaster, it'll have a lot more of a realistic style to it. And so, and it has much smaller maps. So, we'll be able, and with the improved coding we've got from D-Day, I think we'll be able to do some really nice looking maps in there, although they're, much smaller maps.
Yeah, so one thing I've been thinking about is just that fact that if you're just 4 players, some of your maps seems huge. You can't find each other.
I know. Yeah, I need to do something where if you have a small match, it kind of shrinks it down.
Yeah, like if you just play 4 friends or something, you want a private match or anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I have thought about maybe making maybe a small map at some point. Maybe a small indoor map or something. Which the Tank Factory map that'll be coming out probably in another week. It's a much smaller. It's an indoor map, so it's nowhere near as big as this.
So are you planning something with the airplanes, or are they just for looks?
Right now they're just for looks, but yeah, you are going to be able to fly them soon. Thrustmaster sent us dev kits to add in HOTAS support for the Thrustmaster. So yeah, that's going to be coming pretty soon. After we get the update out for the party system and the trial mode, that'll probably be the next big focus.
Yeah. But you're a really small studio. Do you have any other employees at all?
I've got, let's see, I've got 2 artists working with me right now and 1 coder. They're all, working for me on a part-time basis. So I'm the only full-time day-to-day person. But yeah, they do a good job. I mean, I could not have made this game the way it is now without their help. So I've got, let's see. Ethan was helping me with the coding, and then I got Cameron and Alexi who are doing the art for me. And they've all done a tremendous job. So
yeah, this game has really come out good, in my opinion.
well, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the next one we're going to do. It's going to be kind of a sci-fi sort of thing where you'll have laser sabers or kind of like and laser rifles, and so it'll be a very kind of like a Star Wars-esque sort of setting.
Nice. I love Star Wars, by the way, so I'm thrilled for that.
Yeah, we had a lot of positive response from that one, so yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one.
Yeah, so are you is it more platforms to that game, or is it just is it more platform? Is it PSVR and Rift, or do you have do you want it on every VR platform there?
Yeah, definitely we want to start supporting every VR platform. But we'll probably the PS4 will probably be our lead platform on most.
Yeah, that's nice for me. This is the only VR platform I have this far.
Yeah.
And it's the most easy one to get into, in my opinion, because you don't have to have an expensive PC or anything. You just need a PS4 and the VR kit.
Yeah, exactly.
And it just works. That's the good part for many people. Because I'm pretty technical, so I can build my own computer, but not everyone is like that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that was one of the reasons why I did You just shot me. That was not
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, that was one of the reasons why I felt like the PlayStation was really the VR platform to focus on, was because there was such a low cost to entry on it. So I really felt like it had the highest chance for success.
Yeah, it really feels like this is like the one people almost start with, if they're a console player
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah, it's really, I find it surprising that you know, despite the fact that the PlayStation is pretty much the leading, um, you know, VR platform, it seems like the majority of the games are coming out on the PC. There's so many games that I see them talking about, and it's PC, and there's and they talk about, well, it may come to the PlayStation at some point, but I don't know if it's just because it's so much easier to develop for the PC that even though it's a smaller market, most of the smaller studios want to go that route. I'm not, but yes, I've been really surprised at how much focus the PC gets, despite it being the PlayStation being the leading platform.
Yeah, I feel the same way even when it comes to non-VR. Like PC is getting a lot of more small titles and all that stuff than PS4.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's quite a few shooters on the PC side, and I think we've only really got my two games and Firewall that are multiplayer shooters. And well, you got Space Junkies coming out too. Have you tried the Space Junkies
No, I'm
trial?
going for it this weekend.
Yeah, I popped on last night just to see what it was like, and I couldn't even get in the match. So
Oh,
uh, yeah, I got in there. I don't know if it was the time of day. I mean, I guess it was around midnight my time, and but I got in there, and it was a little confusing. I mean, I went through the tutorial, and I got in there, and is this free for all? I wasn't paying attention.
no, it's team match.
Oh, okay.
I think we're in different teams. Yeah, we are. I just shot you.
That was okay. Um, but yeah, so I went in there, and it's kind of confusing because I was in this big room, and then it seemed like you go into another room to actually indicate that you're ready to start. And so I went into that room, and and it's in there, and I saw this this leaderboard sort of thing. It had my name, and it said that I was ready. And then it had like two or three other people, and said they weren't ready, and I kept waiting, and nobody ever readied up. So I eventually just quit out. I quit out and then came over and played this for an hour.
Yeah, you can always return to this. I played a big horror game yesterday on my channel, and I'm really afraid of horror games. But also that I just went back to this, like, yeah. Here I can relax.
Yeah, yeah. It's just simple, casual fun. That's what we wanted it to be. Just pop in and just play, and play for a few minutes or an hour, however long you want.
Yeah, you say 10 minutes, then it's just at least 1 hour every time.
Was that you that just threw a grenade? Because I saw a grenade come out of that pillbox, and it
No,
came
it
right at
wasn't
my
me.
head.
It was me coming out and you shot me.
Somebody threw a grenade, and it literally came right at my head. It was pretty funny.
Yeah. I have a hard time with the grenades. Oh, sweet. Who's throwing that? I have a hard time controlling the grenades.
Yeah, I need to put like an arc. I just missed going through the window of the pillbox as somebody shot me. Yeah, I need to put it like one of those little arcs that shows you where it's going to go. Maybe that's something I'll ask Ethan to look into soon.
Yeah, from the beginning, I actually even had a hard time knowing what I was supposed to do to throw it, but luckily someone told me.
Yeah, if you use the move controllers, you can actually enable a feature called realistic grenade throw, and you literally just throw it like you would, just
Wow,
using the move controllers.
that's nice.
Yeah, you can actually get a longer throw that way. You can actually throw it longer
Yeah,
than just pushing the buttons.
yeah, because they're not going very far right now. If I use the DualShock.
Yeah.
So yeah, your favorite game of all time?
Favorite game? Not counting anything I've made, I would say I always think back on playing Resistance: Fall of Man. That was such a fun game on the yes, that was back on my PlayStation 3 days. If I remember correctly, I think Resistance had 64 player matches, and man, that was a fun game.
Yeah, I only read about those games. I never played that style of games
Yeah.
when I was that young. But still, they seemed fun. I wasn't that big
Resistance was a
into
really good
shooting
game.
games. Damn it, you got me again.
Was that me?
Yeah,
Your whole team is spawning right in front of me.
yeah, that happens sometimes. You just got served the kills.
I think you were hiding in the shed there.
Yeah, it was me. Wanting to get away. Oh,
Jumping in. This is Doc. Yeah, I
Oh,
streamed a little bit yesterday, and I'm loving the update. Seriously, I love the update.
okay. Hey, I didn't. I'm actually doing an interview with Oscar, who's got a channel over in Sweden. Oscar,
Yeah.
this is Dr. Doom. He's a YouTuber over here as well.
yeah. I've heard about him.
Oh yeah, I just help out behind the scenes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But actually, if
So-
you guys were doing an interview, I could step out. I apologize.
It's up to
No
Oscar if
problem.
you want.
There's no problem.
I didn't even think to make it private, so it's not on you. It's on me. I didn't.
Yeah, I always
Alright,
forget
no
that too.
But
But wait a minute, are
But
you
yeah, it's
the
good seeing
same
you.
Doctor Doom as like the one Brian Paul always mentions?
yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
yeah.
I used to be one of the original moderators, and I kind of helped out, introducing Reggie to Brian Paul. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, little
Yeah.
side story, but yeah, it was a pleasure, seriously. But I will leave the party, and you guys continue on. All right, I will talk to you guys later. Have a good day.
All right,
Same
take
to
care,
you.
Doom.
I just have to
Yeah,
do I just have to do a little cut here because this is can just record 1 hour at a time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I have to say it.
I've got pretty busy schedule. as
No
you can
problem.
imagine,
I
but,
understand that you're busy. Like,
Yeah. Do you have any final questions before I need to cut out?
yeah, no, actually, they were accidentally covered.
Accidentally covered.
Like future plans for the studios and that stuff. You
Yeah.
were talking about that, and that's not a problem that they're getting covered that way. So
Well, sounds good. Well, thank you for having me on your show.
yeah, I'm
And,
happy you joined. I was really thrilled to have you here.
Yeah, and if you see me on playing on my dev kit on Strange Games, that's on my dev kit, and it's a separate network environment, so I can't chat or do anything. So I won't be able to chat with you or
Yeah.
join a party or anything if you see me there. But if you see me on with this handle,
Yeah.
yeah, I can join in a party or anything.
Yeah, I will be sure to look out for that because I've seen you a few times. Or I've seen you
All
around.
right, sounds good.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I'll if I see you see you playing, I'll send you a message if we can play together again.
yeah, do that. That would really be fun.
All right,
I
Oscar,
will be
talking to
nicer
you.
than I was against you yesterday.
Okay, sounds
Yeah.
good. All right,
Yeah.
take care, Oscar.
Yeah, the same to you.
All right, bye bye.
Yeah, bye.